Welcome to Cinema Sketches. I'm Dan Beasel, and I'm an artist with a love for movies. Finding artistic inspiration can be challenging, so why not draw inspiration from those movies? Watch as I create whatever art the movie inspires, and listen as I share my thoughts on the film. Be sure to like, subscribe, and activate those notifications to help the channel. Today, I'm drawing inspiration from the 1985 film Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is the first major motion picture from director Tim Burton. It was written by the long-missed Phil Hartman, the great Paul Reubens, and Michael Varhol. It stars Paul Reubens, E.G. Daly, Diane Salinger, Judd Omen, Irving Hellman, and, for me, I would be remiss to not mention Lou Cattell as Amazing Larry. The letterboxed synopsis is as follows. The eccentric and childish Pee-wee Herman embarks on a big adventure when his beloved bicycle is stolen. Armed with information from a fortune teller and a relentless obsession with his prized possession, Pee-wee encounters a host of odd characters and bizarre situations as he treks across the country to recover his bike. Now let's dive into it. Oh, shocking. It's our good friend, tan-toned paper. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love this stuff. There is so much to draw inspiration from. This movie is a visual feast. However, I must go with the absolutely ghoulish visage of Large Marge. On his way to the Alamo, the basement of the Alamo specifically, because that's where the fortune teller told him that his bike was, he gets a ride from a woman named Marge, and she's a truck driver, and she begins to tell this really dark story about a horrific accident. It concludes with Marge transforming into whatever this is. It's pretty wild scene. If you haven't seen the movie, check it out for this alone. It is a strange bit in this very just unusual movie. The whole movie is just odd, but lovable. It's very interesting. I'll never be able to explain all the history of Pee-wee Herman as a character either, and even Paul Reubens, the actor who played Pee-wee. That's just best left to the docuseries Pee-wee as himself. It's streaming on Max. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. It's amazing. Pee-wee's Big Adventure and I go way back. I was very well aware as a child of the 80s who Pee-wee Herman was. He was on talk shows a lot, and he just seemed to be like himself. That's who he was. He was just this strange character who would later go on to star in the hit TV show Pee-wee's Playhouse, which that alone is even stranger than this movie, but what a delight. It's fantastic. So yeah, I'm just going in, I'm inking Large Marge here. I'm having a good time. Having fun with the line work on this one because it is pretty interesting, but as you can see here, I go in, I want these eyes to be nice, perfect circles, as they are on the character. Now I'm going in and I'm using alcohol markers here. And that's going to be the bulk of my coloring on this one. Yeah, I absolutely just love this movie. It's such a delight. It's so odd. If you try to think about the world that this takes place in, it's very much the real world, but the people in it are just kind of bizarre. Because Pee-wee, well, he has like the anti-Pee-wee in this movie, who is Francis. And Francis is like a rich kid, but he's also a grown man. And that's kind of right away. You kind of know like what is going on here. This movie is wild and it's different. And right away too, Pee-wee lives in, his house is like a big Rube Goldberg machine that makes him breakfast, and you get to see how Pee-wee starts his day. It's just fascinating. But we should really talk about Pee-wee's bike. Pee-wee's bike is just very tricked out. It's an old style bike, and yeah, I don't know what year the bike actually is from originally, but you know, it definitely has like a 60s vibe to it. It has all sorts of gadgets and different things on it. And you don't blame Pee-wee. I mean, heck, if any of us had a bike like this, it would be rad as hell. So you can see I'm using different shades of alcohol marker, and I'm just building up the tones, as I am wont to do if you've seen any of my other videos. Here we go. I'm going in, I'm blending a little bit. I'm glad I picked up a blender. Adding some shading in here. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, as the synopsis for the movie says, I mean, Pee-wee does encounter a host of odd characters and bizarre situations on his big adventure. It's a road trip movie. We're putting in some red ink here for the color of Large Marge's flannel. I figured this was a good way to just get a nice solid color on Large Marge. Now I'm just going in with a brush. I'm just inking it all in. Staying in the lines because I don't want to go like make brush strokes over the ink itself and, you know, maybe cause them to kind of blur out a little bit. Just kind of trailing it off on the bottom too. And you can see here too, in case any of the brush strokes show up, I'm going in and I'm just kind of following the angle of how the flannel would lay on Large Marge. Now I'm going in with some white, and I'm using an eyedropper to add drops of water to the splotch of this acrylic that I've used, because it's a little thick, but I really want the opaqueness of the paint. So just watering it down a little bit helps it spread a little easier. Little hand wave to dry things off. So now I'm going in and I'm using a sponge that I've like picked at. I've made it irregular, and I'm using the paint from earlier, the white paint, and I'm making gray tones by adding a little bit of black ink. I'm going in with a brush, kind of getting in a little closer. I didn't plan this out ahead of time, and it was making me a little nervous. And I do get a little splotchy with it later, and I do get some on areas that I did not want any of the paint for this wild hair of Large Marge. But that's okay, we all make little mistakes here and there. It's not a big deal. If I ever do this again next time, I'll know better. So I'm also going in and I'm adding some white highlights to this, and I'm going to add some darker shades as well. I have a different piece of sponge for that. It's a little crustier sponge. It adds a little more texture. So anyways, there's a couple of fun flubs in this movie that they ended up correcting when it came out on DVD. One, he's pulling a chain out of part of his bike, and you can see, because the chain just keeps going and going and going because he's locking up his bike, and you can see part of the chain on the bottom where it's like coming through, but they corrected that on the DVD. And honestly, I always just wondered, like, it's so obvious, did they just leave it in? Just adding a little texture here because I didn't want to have my markers spoil any of the fun detail. But anyway, another part too, like they're supposed to be traveling at night, and he's getting a little sleepy in the car, and there's like signs coming at him, but to film it, you know, a little bit of movie magic, they're just on like a little track. And you could see that in the original version, and I just thought, hey, maybe they wanted us to see the trick. It makes it kind of a little fun and a little wink. Working with this plaid here, I'm going over my ink with an alcohol marker. I did test this out ahead of time, but not on such a large area, so I'm not really comfortable with how it was working out. Because I kind of wanted it to be a little semi-transparent, but it comes out a little dark when I go over it a couple times. But I don't know. You still tell it's plaid, right? Now I'm going in with a brush and I'm just kind of darkening things up here, making things stand out. One scene really sticks out to me in this movie too. It's where Pee-wee meets up with a bunch of bikers and he yells at them because he's trying to use the phone. And that's where you get the famous dance of him on the bar top in the big riser shoes to tequila, and he befriends the bikers. But at the end of that, when he decides to take off, they give him a bike of his own motorcycle to ride off on, which he doesn't make it very far. He just kind of crashes into a sign. But when he's shaking hands with one of the bikers, that scene, that's me. Like, I identify with that so much. I'm kind of a nerdy character myself in some ways, and I don't know, I just got to know a lot of like really rough and tumble people in my life, bikers especially, when I would tattoo, and I don't know, we got along. It's a interesting relationship to say the least, but yeah, that's kind of me in that movie. I tried using a little paint brush on the actual tone paper and it didn't quite work out, but it works for making some highlights here for sure. Oh, hey, look, it's our old friend, the nub of white colored pencil. Just add some highlights here. I could talk about this movie all day, honestly. I mean, it's so memorable. There's so many memorable quotes. The end ends in a big chase. To this day, instead of saying procrastination or anything, my family, we like to say Pee-wee and the Snakes, because he's rescuing a bunch of animals from a burning pet store at one point and just keeps trying to avoid the snakes because he's grossed out by him, but he ends up doing it anyway. Adding a little wash in here. I went a little too dark in one spot there, so I'm just gonna try to, under the collar, try to work it out a little bit. But it's not cooperating. I got a little frustrated with it, but it leaves a little like pale mark. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So I'm signing it. I am done. This is Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Honestly, I'm a little biased with this movie. It's so much of an influence on me. My sense of humor is completely all over this movie. I completely love it. There's so many great moments in it. 5 out of 5 stars. Go watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Can't give it any less than 5 stars. Sorry. But I love it. Hey, thanks for watching. Do all the things that help the show grow and share your thoughts on the movie and what inspires you down in the comments. Check out Corrupted Youth Podcast for more movie discussions with my son Brennan and I. You can find episodes here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Links are going to be down in the notes. So until next time, art and at hand the world.